Hello, fellow shut-ins. Welcome to the coronavirus gameplay walkthrough of Primrose Lake. It's March 14th, 2020. And unless you're living in Antarctica or, I don't know, middle of the Serengeti, you're probably living in a world gone crazy. So, hope you're all stocked up on toilet paper, whiskey, and wine, because those are the staples as far as I can tell. We're gonna hang out. Why the heck not? I'm going to do a walkthrough of Welcome to Primrose Lake. We are ferociously in the middle of the sequel. By ferocious, I mean everyone's working really hard on it. We're a virtual studio, so, you know, this is kind of our lives anyway. We sit in attics in front of our computers and make games. But yeah, I thought instead of focusing on what I can't do, I don't know, we'd have a little fun. I got some coffee here, which is almost empty. Jesus, I need to make more coffee. Because that's what you do. You drink coffee, play games. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks from the point of view of an insider. I am the creative director, the narrative lead and writer, story director for Welcome to Primrose Lake, made in cooperation with Square Root of 3. And yeah, let's do this thing. Why the heck not? Let's act like everything's okay. Here we go. Alright, welcome. We are going to start at the very beginning, of course. This is Welcome to Primrose Lake. I'm going to talk you through it from a insider point of view. There are a lot of players who go out there and do walkthroughs, so consider this a behind-the-scenes experiment. Rather than just reading all of the lines and just playing all of the levels, I'm actually going to talk to you about our decisions, how we came up with things, what our intentions were, and yeah. So, you'll have to mute me if you don't want to hear that stuff. Alright, so we come into the opening scene. This scene originally had dialogue, but when it came right down to it, we decided we didn't want the dialogue in the game, simply because it was actually too difficult to edit in the animation engine that we are using. But yeah, oh my god, who just went over the waterfall? It's about 1920 something, and then we cut to this. So, there's Jessica, Baker, Carlyle, and Jenny. Where are you headed? So this is one of the funniest things for me as a narrative designer. When the studio came to me, they said, we want this case of mistaken identity. A lot of players have said, come on, really, is that going to happen? These two women are going to run into each other in the middle of nowhere and just happen to look a lot alike? About a day's drive. Perfect. She jumps in the car, because why wouldn't you? There's Mom. It's a little Easter egg. If you go back and look at that, Jenny's mom is running from the church. So, there is a suspension of disbelief here. But it's a game. There's supposed to be a suspension of disbelief. I mean, you know, Star-Lord doesn't exist, but I still like Guardians of the Galaxy. And, yeah, I'll keep watching it. So, come along with us. Give us the benefit of the doubt. It makes for a fun plot twist. As I said, Square Root of 3, this was their desire. They wanted a game that had Twin Peaks. I threw in Northern Exposure because I'm dark but quirky, so you know I can't quite write to the world is bleak and all hope is lost. I don't know why. So I had to put a little quirk in there. Maybe they are cousins or something. Well, cousin, I'm Jessica. Welcome aboard. I'm Jennifer. Jenny Carlyle. Nice to meet. So, we know these are not high-end animations, but it is the first game in this engine with a young team, and I think they did a pretty good job considering it's their first game of this kind. So, For me, I love the setting. I think it's kind of quirky. I think it's hilarious that they gave Jessica this purple car. Maybe it's fate. Maybe it is fate. Do you believe in fate? I don't know. One of my favorite philosophers is John Lennon. There's nowhere you can be that isn't where you were meant to be. I think that that's a pretty fitting philosophy for the time that we live in. Give us a little peace of mind. I accept the terms and conditions. So, one of the first things we're going to do is go in here, show you. If you click on this little hamburger, they call it, menu button, how to play. If you have not played, we do give you some tips and tricks. This is a time management game for those of you who are familiar with it. It is based on the Delicious games from Gamehouse in terms of mechanic. That is the mechanic that it's inspired by. This is how you say that. Settings. I love the music, but I want to be able to talk to you, so I'm going to turn it way down. Our soundtrack is inspired by the Lumineers, and as well as Young Frankenstein. True story. Yeah, when I worked with the composer to set the score, I said, yes, we want this kind of Rocky Mountain, you know, woodsy, modern guitar, acoustic music. But we've got some spookier elements, and so I really wanted that violin from Young Frankenstein. It's true. Show hints. I'm shutting it off. Sound effects. These you can turn up or down. I'm going to turn them down a little bit again because recording. Don't want it to get too crazy. And I'm going to play on a normal difficulty. If you're having trouble, you can come in and always click easy. I will say the way that it was designed, I did not do any of the level design in here, and our level designer, the way he set it up is your gameplay is not going to get easier, but your goals are going to get easier. So just know you might still really be working for it, but you'll probably pass the levels. I'm going to play on normal, even though I find our levels a little bit difficult. If nothing else, it'll be amusing for you, and you can feel maybe a little less alone if you're not able to beat the levels on your very first pass. Credits. I do always recommend people go in and read the credits. One of the most interesting complaints that we get in game development is that we would like to be paid, and this is our job. I mean, you pay for a subscription for films, you buy tickets to movies. This is a game. And even though we don't control all of the distribution and the pricing, we do have a team of people who work really hard to bring it to you. So I won't sit here on credits too long, but I always encourage people to go and check them out. All right, without further ado, play. Whee! It's one of my favorite things that the studio did. I wanted a sense of place. I wanted us to be able to come back to the same place over and over and over again as we expanded the franchise. I think I mentioned we are working on the sequel right now, and so when you come into the sequel, you will come here to the same exact town, to the same cast of characters, and we'll simply keep expanding on the story. It makes it a little bit difficult from a design point of view because we don't want it to get boring, right? So we want to be able to add new things and new challenges as you move along, so we're always working on that. We're kind of laying down the train tracks, and we learned some things from this first experience. But yes, we're going to go into the cafe. Welcome to Primrose, now get to work. So when you navigate, and I'll kind of show you this, you can click on the icons, you can click on the navigation bar. There's a bunch of different ways to move around. So these two have driven for a couple of days. This is Jenny. This is Jessica. Jenny's stolen some of Jessica's clothes because if you're going to have a case of mistaken identity, push it all the way. It's my motto. Wasn't really in my right mind when I left my fiancé at the altar. Does Primrose Lake even have a store? I find this to be a very good question. Oh my god, yes it does. It's a general store. All your mountain needs. Yeah, Jessica did not grow up here, as we'll find out. Jesus. It's tough work driving those mountain highways. I don't know if you've done it, but it can be harrowing. The Rockies are up there. Mile-high cities. Yeah, I think confusion is pretty much the right decision. No cell phone reception. It's one of the things I really wanted for this town. I wanted Primrose Lake to be a place full of people who were there because they wanted to get away. They, you know, they're misanthropes and wounded individuals who are all suffering from one form of PTSD or another. Trauma and drama in their past has led them to a place where they're like, I'm gonna go hide in the mountains. And the idea that most of the phones don't work and there's no internet, no cell phone reception, suits them just fine. Now that there's the coronavirus, they're probably they're the future of humanity. The people of Primrose Lake will populate the earth, which will really upset some people because some people do not like the people of Primrose Lake. They find them just a little bit too weird. I like weird. Weird is fun. I will skip the tutorial. You can go in and play it. These are our objectives. Every level has an objective. It gives you extra points. So, let's see here. And yeah. So one of the secrets if you want to get points, there are also these little raccoons in every level, is try to deliver all of your orders simultaneously. Stack as many as you can. It's tough with only 3 slots in your inventory since so many so often the orders are 4 at a time, but I'm also realizing it's hard to play and talk at the same time. Not a thing I do a lot of. Alright, you want a donut with sprinkles? Because we all want donuts with sprinkles. Now I'm going to sit here and wait. Check all 3 out at one time. And that got me a 3-time combo. So I got... Oh, and that's one of the things. You don't necessarily get to clean the tables if you do that. So, if you want to get your all of your achievements for cleaning all the tables, that's one of the secrets, is that I could hold them there at the cash register and then run to the tables, clean those up. That'll get that achievement. This is Chip, profoundly misunderstood man. Little known fact about Chip, he has a postgraduate degree in literature. Yeah, that's why he's married to Becca Lee, who's a library sciences major, master of library sciences. It's true. Met and fell in love at university. He hasn't always been in a mountain town. But he is a curmudgeon. He's really trying to be nice here. Just so you know, this is Chip's highest level of social skill. Misunderstood. As are so many misanthropes. Many misanthropes are misunderstood. You never know when the sheriff will swing by for one of them frilly drinks. Originally it was sissy drinks, and out of respect for modern culture, I didn't want anyone to be upset by the notion that I was saying sissy. I don't know why. But those old timers, he would have said sissy. That would have been his line. To be perfectly honest. This is one of my favorite things we did too. So watch up here, day 1, day 2, day 3. If you get lost in the timeline, you'll actually be able to notice that we'll go from sunset back to daylight, and you know, from dawn to night, because we're telling a timeline that takes place simultaneously, but we have to do so in a linear fashion because you have to be able to play the game. So complicated? Sure. Worth it? Totally. This is your little achievement button. It will pop up as soon as you start achieving things. Imagine that. And you know, we'll get into this as we move along. I know some people have had trouble getting all of the achievements, so I'll do what I can to get you there. This is a way to review the story. I know a lot of people like to skip story. God bless you. You know what? If you want to play a game, play the game. It's why we have the skip button. There are no hard feelings here, even for someone like me who wrote the thing. I think it's rather charming and clever, but you don't have to watch it. If you do skip it, and then you suddenly find yourself following along or lost in the story or missing a plot point, you can come back in here, click it, and it'll pop up. I'm not going to do it right now, because we've already seen all these stories. Alright. Yeah, level 2. I didn't sign up for this. Water. If you do drink out of a water bottle, I highly recommend running it through a dishwasher, pouring boiling water over it, soaking it in bleach. Coronavirus. Hashtag shut-ins. Sorry. This is how I handle stress. I handle stress with an inappropriate sense of humor. Really needed that nap. I hear you, Jess. Something up? This grumpy old guy came by. Didn't comment on how horribly he managed the cafe. So Chip used to run the cafe. What was he doing? So yeah. Is it surreal that she would just take off? Sure it is, but she's got other things on her mind. She received an envelope full of stuff, which we're not talking about yet. Oh, I just caught a mistake in our art. Look at that. That's upsetting to me. Anyway. This is what happens. You go through and you try to catch as much as you can. You go through QA. 6 people really worked full-time on this. There were double that working in fits and starts, but, you know, can't catch it all. You gotta just breathe and relax. Oh my gosh, what's this? She dropped something. Yeah, don't talk to a lot of people. How do you not talk to a lot of people? Okay, so clean the cafe. These are my favorites. I come down here, just start cleaning this one right away. So, as we've discussed, because you kind of stack things up, go and get as much cleaned as you can. Clicking the raccoon doesn't interrupt anything, so now we go this, bing, and then this, bang, and boom. Yeah. Clean that table. Get all of them points. Yeah. And then this. Boing. And then clean that up. So that's the most efficient way I have found to do this. And I do like, you know, trying to get the circle in there, if you can. And if you're really points intensive, so I'm going to clean the table, and then I'm going to check out. And that way I get my clean table bonuses. 50 points for an all clean. That matters. That if you're really getting close to it and you feel like you're not able to get all the points, that's going to push you over the edge if you get that 50-point bonus lots of times. So, true confessions, Fiona ended up being one of my favorite characters. I didn't really have a feel for her when I started writing, and then we worked through and we got all of her poses and animations done, and really started playing with her in combination with her dialogues. I just think she's delightful. She's a total busybody, and the last thing she wants to do is cause any harm. She thinks that by being up in everybody else's shit, she's doing us all some favors. As do most well-intentioned busybodies. But she's just delightful, and she doesn't have a lot of people to hang out with. Like, she works in the general store with her dad, who's her dad. Loves her, but what do they have in common? I'm a little tired of pie. Jenny has no idea what she's talking about here. This is a nod to Twin Peaks, but it's also a reference to the diner, which has been the only place in town where you could really eat until Jenny takes over the cafe. Again, a little background information for those of you who like the story. So by this point in time, Jenny's starting to feel a little flipped out. All she wanted to do was not get married. I mean, come on. She didn't intend to get herself in this situation. So here's the map navigation. If you see a green icon, that's your active icon. Right now, because I'm in the tutorial, I can't go back, but I'll show you that next time. So this is what we call internally a mystery location. It's also an interlude, right? It's a story interlude. You can skip these, but you're going to be completely lost if you are following the story. So this is Chip. This is Bobby. Bobby is Jessica's cousin. Maybe I shouldn't have told you that. But he is a Carlyle as well. I'm also seeing, I feel like when the game got packaged for release, it has a lot of little weird things. So, true confession time here. When you work on a game like this, you get to release candidate, you get it out there. We QA tested this thing for months. You eventually go, yeah, that's it. And you walk away because we have to start making the next one. Oh my God, is she on to me? Run! This is Doc. So Doc also is the music teacher in town, just so you know. All the violin you hear in the game is played by Dr. Hugh Brown. It's true. Doc has a great backstory. He's a trauma surgeon. It's true. It's true. I'm not going to tell you more than that. Maybe I will. What's this, a map? So, our friend Ox here is not a moron. But because he lives in a small town, you know, you carry the burden of other people's assumptions with you through your entire life. You can't escape your past. So, Chip does treat Ox like an idiot. So he gave him a map of his own town and was like, this is where we're meeting. So rude. God, poor Ox. Doesn't get a break. Bring her here. Now, if he hadn't done that, Jessica might have, like, just gone about her day. It's true. It's not what happened. Alrighty, we are back. So, get back to the cafe. Here we go. And it'll come up and unlock this location. Now for me, I wanted these mystery locations to be here and clickable on the map. It's a little difficult to figure out the navigation. We've worked it out for the sequel. But no, if you want to go and replay these levels, what are your options? You can come in here, you can find them in the story, right? Labeled mystery locations. And you can always replay them by going up here. Good little trick. But it's also here. Again, I'm not going to click on it because I don't want to. Because we just played it and I don't want to have to go back there. So we'll go to level 3. Yeah. So, little known fact, our environment is broken up into chapters. So I am going to try to play through the entire first chapter today. It's lengthy. We'll see how far we get. Because I'm so damn chatty, this is long. It's long. Feel free to skip ahead. When I upload this, I'll do little skips to gameplay, so you can skip ahead to the gameplay. Still no service. Sorry, Jen. You are never going to have any service there in this town. I hate to break that news to you. Peggy is also one of my favorite characters. I have a lot of friends in law enforcement. And so I tried to base her on actual individuals that I know. A little known fact about Peggy. Her name is Peggy Dalton. She is a former U.S. Marshal and underwent a traumatic case as her last case. Dropped out of law enforcement, ended up working in Dusty Springs, the town down the hill, until she was called back into duty by a mysterious benefactor. I know who the benefactor is. If you finish the game, you know who the benefactor is too. I'm not telling them. You ain't gonna have any cell reception until you drive down to Dusty Springs, because there are no cell towers anywhere near the On-A-Way Pass. So it's the On-A-Way Pass. The Carlyle Cafe is at Primrose Lake, named for Charlotte Carlyle. It was her favorite flower. She's the founder of the town. And this was an old lumber gold rush town with a route to California through the Rocky Mountains. And they called it the On-A-Way Pass because it was on the way. So, there you go. All this stuff. Introverts. We hang out with all of our imaginary friends. That's what we do. And we make stuff up. I like the On-A-Way Pass. This used to be the On-A-Way Pass Saloon. Well then, make me a damn coffee. If children are watching this, I apologize. There's going to be a smattering of well-placed profanity. And, oh, there it is. I got all distracted because look at this, we've got our new inventory slot here, which I really wanted. For this game, I don't reckon we should have fewer than fewer than 4 inventory slots. Sorry, I'm trying to talk. Yay! And stack things up and do all the stuff. So you saw I cleaned the table before I checked out, and that was a huge bonus. Huge bonus. If you're playing these games and you're wondering how much... Oh, monkey. How much... Oh, wait. Stop it. Look up here at the objective bar, and it will tell you how many of these you have. So you don't mess up. So you can basically get it out of your way. So in some of these instances, did I not serve it? There we go, all clean bonus. So in some of these instances, you'll see that there will be a bar that'll tick down, and so that'll kind of be infinite numbers of that objective where you have to serve them. But always look up there, and if you've got the ticks, just serve that customer as soon as those orders come in. You can get them out of the way, because they don't count to your bonuses for checking out. So, yeah, see? Yeah. My favorite thing about Peggy is she's a decent human being. She's not dumb, but she knows Jenny's not a bad person. She's got an instinct for her. Unbeknownst to Peggy, of course, Jenny is not the Carlyle she thinks she is. Alright, so the park is unlocked. So let's go in here. Spin diamonds to restore the park. This will be one of those things where in the sequel, Carlyle lives are short. They really are. If you downloaded a version of the game and did not ever refresh your build, you will be missing parts of the Carlyle family tree. It is now fully populated, but at one point in time in here, I will actually show you the full Carlyle family tree, because Yeah, because I have it. The other thing that's missing from here is that you can't click on the icons. You enter into the map here. Yeah, but I'm going to take you back in. Yes, thank you. So, this is your balance. You can come in here, buy a nice lawn, and more will unlock. This works exactly the same on Android, iOS, PC download, Steam, Switch. We're several places. So yeah, in the next version of the game you can actually click on the portraits. It's a big deal, it's what I wanted. Small studio, we gotta make our choices. So in our achievements, it will automatically scroll to the last achievement you received. So if you play, right? So this is the very last one I earned. You saw it pop down. That's why it scrolls. It'll finish. It just wants you to see what you got last. Now we go back in here. You can scroll left and right to find other levels. This will be the very last level in the Carlyle Cafe in Chapter 1. Coffee. I think I'm going to make another coffee before I keep playing. God bless the person who first ate those beans. Can you imagine? Think about this. Somebody's like, yep, that. If I just roast that, grind it up, and pour water through it, hot water, that'll turn into something. It's an ingenious human being. I love that person. Oh God, Fiona. Where are my cookies? Where are my chocolate chip cookies? Secret, insider note, the reason that we're making chocolate chip cookies, my favorite. I have been at business meetings, out to dinner, and there's been chocolate chip cookies on the menu as a dessert, and I will order them and a glass of milk. I have no pride. I will totally do that. So this new appliance has a little timer on it, and it's a restocker. I always recommend restock. Anything that's a restocker, just restock it when you first come in. Trust me, you will be grateful. And now I need to focus. Yeah. And I'm going to hold these guys here. There we go. Cleaning that table. Doing this. And watch this magic. Boom. Checking them all out. Getting all the bonuses. Yeah. So, the timer's almost up. We probably don't have to make more cookies. You can. There's no penalty for having plenty of cookies on hand, just so you know. And boom, 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 boom. La 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 la. Let's see what this kid orders. Come on, kid, cookie me. Cookie me. Oh wow, we got lots of people coming in here. Cleaning the table. And yes, down to the wire. One cookie left. One cookie left. That's how I roll. I believe the sun is set. Where the heck is Jessica? Like, would this not be alarming to you? Obviously, Jenny is slightly adventurous because she ran away from her wedding and then was like, "Hi, stranger. I'll get in your car in the middle of nowhere." So we know she's a bit of a free spirit. Maybe it's this hidden free spirit that she kept suppressed for most of her life, and now she's trying to find connection with. But irregardless, I'm a fairly free spirit. I would be disturbed by this. I'm just like, dude, I'm in this town, all alone. The person who brought me here that I've spent 48 hours with has vanished. Am I worried? I'm probably worried. And I can't get back down. My phones don't work. Come to Primrose Lake and never be heard from again. I think that's the right response. So now she feels a little snoopy, but she's gonna snoop. Deed to the Onaway Saloon, property of J. Carlyle. She's J. Carlyle. Jessica's J. Carlyle. How many J. Carlyles are there? That's this address. It's super strange. Curse of the House of Carlyle. Now, what you don't know is that there's a post-it note on this. Popular hotspot destroyed. This is an article. Maddie and George Baker. Baker was written on the envelope. Perished in the fire. They are survived by their daughter, Jessica. So Jessica Baker. I like that line. I think it's funny. So she's left the door unlocked. But nope. Yeah, I wouldn't leave the door unlocked either. I'm sleeping here alone? No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Yay! All the diamonds. I'm skipping them. You can watch the animations if you want to. This is my favorite part. Sunset. Sunset. Oh, if they're green, you can buy them. Buying that. Oh, wait. Let's see. Is there any new stuff? And no. It'll tell you. You'll get a little pop-up if you are following along at home. Oh. There's a strange woman standing there. Yep. I just like to get rid of the poppies. Poppy things. Before we go to this next scene, I think I'm going to go make myself another cup of coffee. I will be right back.